Hello and welcome back to another episode of Make a Change. I am your host Katharina Schuster, and for everyone who's new, welcome. For everyone who's not new, welcome back. And don't forget to hit this button. It would really help me to spread my message to help as many people as I can. And now let's get into today's episode. Today's episode will be about restaurant guilt. So I want to dedicate this episode to particular two clients of mine. So the one person is Isabel, the other one is Gabriel. Both, they don't know each other. One is sitting in Germany, the other one is here in Australia. And both of them, they like going out. They're not crazy party people, but they still like going out with family, with friends, having nice dinners out, but always really feeling that guilt after. Feeling like, oh no, I've got over my macros, got over my total calorie count, and really feeling bad about it. So, and this is something that I used to do as well. And I think it applies to a lot of people out there. And possibly the one you who is currently watching this. And that's why I want to dedicate this episode particular to those two people who are my clients. They are obviously one of the most important people in my life. And apart from family, of course. But also it's something that's really coming straight from my heart. And this episode will be basically done into two different parts. The first part is about the restaurant guild itself, and the second part is like a step-by-step count on how to like shift your mindset to like from an all or nothing to an all or something mindset, and like kind of getting rid of this guilt, understanding where your mind is, and like I watched a very interesting masterclass actually the other day. It was about a similar topic, and that person said like start eating like a normal person again. And she said, I probably will never be able to eat like a normal person again, because she was also, I think she is a personal trainer, but of course I'm not sure what her nutritional education is, but I believe she's a registered nutritionist as well. I'm not entirely sure, because so I know the macro content of all food. I'm so educated in food and nutrition that I actually know what's in front of me, and in my head I will always say, okay, that's 30 grams of carbs, that's 11 grams of fats, that's like 20 grams of protein. This is all what's going on in her head. And I have to say, I kind of could relate to that, because even though, I mean, I am tracking at the moment because I am in a fat loss phase, particular I'm in prep. But even though when I'm not tracking, like when I'm in my muscle building phase or at maintenance, I'm still tracking, but I'm tracking quite loosely. And then I'm like, when I'm going out to a restaurant, I have the same thing. Like I'm tracking in my head to roughly have an idea of the calories I'm eating, so that I'm not like accidentally going into a crazy calorie surplus. And I was like, so, that's probably like 11, maybe 15 grams of fats. That's probably like roughly 30, possibly 40 grams of carbohydrates. And this is always like I'm going in my mind. So I'm tracking in my head, even though when I'm not in my fat loss phase. And I kind of could like, I never thought about it. It was like not normal, because to me that is very normal, but it's also not triggering me at the same time. So that was very interesting, like a very interesting acknowledgement of like myself as well. And so we're going also in this topic what it means eating like a normal person. And even though I am apparently not eating like a normal person, because I'm thinking in protein, carbohydrates and fats, and not seeing the food as an indulgence or as a social event or as a connection that brings people together, what it's supposed to be. All right, let's get into it. So we are all growing up or grew up in an area where your body is your personality. So your body is not just a body, you're getting judged by the way how you look. You're not getting judged by the amazing person you are. And I mean, to be fair, like when you're going out to a restaurant, to a bar, to a nightclub, and you're single and maybe looking for a boyfriend, girlfriend, you see someone in the corner of the nightclub, and you're not like thinking about, oh, I wonder what is his character, or I wonder if he's funny or serious. You probably think, oh, he has great arms. Or like if you're a guy watching this, you probably think, I don't know, what do guys think? I have no idea. Like you would be looking at that person's body. So, oh yeah, that person looks really good. You would not necessarily think about the qualities of that person, if that makes sense. With growing up in an era where your body is your personality, it's obviously a little bit more complex than just seeing a person in a nightclub. Obviously, when you then go over to the person in the nightclub and you start talking, you build up a relationship. Then you can decide, oh, do I actually like this person or not? And then when you're ending up in a relationship, the look doesn't really matter anymore. It really matters what kind of person is that. And with the social media, it's a little bit different in my opinion. So it always, I think a couple of years ago, we were like on a really good trend where men and women, they were showing up their muscular bodies, their fit bodies. And I thought, wow, we really got over that skinny look. And like people saying, oh my gosh, I eat so many carbohydrates a day. And I was like, oh, finally, we got it. But then now in the last year, I guess, we all came back to like needing to look skinny, especially with the help of weight loss drugs such as Ozempic or Mounjaro. Like those drugs are getting used even for people who don't necessarily need them, in my opinion. So I think that drug, I don't want to dive too much into those drugs because I'm not an expert in that. And also this topic shouldn't be about Mounjaro. But those drugs are often getting used by people who don't necessarily need them. And often we're focusing on what is my number on the scale, and not really looking at your body composition. Because even if you're losing that weight and you're having that small frame and you see maybe a number on the scale that you're happy with, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're metabolically healthy. So you can still have fat inside your muscle tissue. That kind of fat you don't actually see. And this is where we become skinny fat. Like if you watch my Instagram, I put out a point of view of like, with those weight loss drugs, we are probably being on a good way of getting away from the obesity epidemic that we've been fighting for the past 20 or 30 years. So that probably will getting solved in the next few years. That would be good. But is the next epidemic a skinny fat epidemic, which is still as the same dangerous composition as being obese? So having still excess body fat obviously is not healthy. It is still causes many diseases such as heart disease, diabetes. But skinny fat, having that fat inside your muscle tissue, is still dangerous for you to develop or be at higher risk at having developing cardiovascular diseases. So therefore, my coaching style has actually really changed as well. I always have been for muscle building, and I always wanted to get the people away from being scared of getting too bulky, because building muscle is so important. Not only for the looks, for the aesthetic looks, because I personally think it looks great, but obviously everyone has a different perspective. But it's also really healthy. Like if you have a good amount of muscle mass, you'll be metabolically healthy. You have more strength. You have a higher longevity, and you can also then less worry about the food in the restaurant, because you're actually, when you're being a more muscular person, you actually have the ability to burn more energy while sitting on the sofa. So let's go back to the guilt. So like all of these social medias where we have to be skinny again, that is, and like thing like hunger is like a bad thing. You're not supposed to be hungry, but you're also not allowed to eat something. All of these messages that we're getting, especially from like things like skinny talk, the skinny talk on TikTok, which I actually haven't found yet, but I keep hearing all of those things on Instagram. That really plays with our mindset and really troubles our well-being about ourselves, because actually all of those things is really unhealthy for us, and that puts young people, like those two people of my clients, Gabriel and Isabel, they're like a similar age like me. Gabriel is actually quite young, he's only 19 years old, but he's dealing, Isabel is the same age like me. We're actually friends from back then when we were still in high school. She contacted me a couple of months ago if I would take her on as a client. I said yes. I usually don't take on friends, but I made an exception because she was really frustrated. But Gabriel, for example, he's 19 years old, and he's dealing with such a great guilt of just having one dinner out, because I believe he's making really good progress with the program I have developed for him. And he said like he's really gaining strength, he's losing body fat, and then he's having this one meal out. He's very disciplined with his nutrition as well. Like he prefers eating a lower carbohydrate diet, moderate fats, and really high protein, which is great. But then he's obviously going out to a restaurant, and the meals there is probably a little bit lower in protein, higher in fats and carbohydrates, and what it does, it makes him feel bloated and makes him feel uncomfortable. Because it's normal, because the diet he's having in the restaurant, it's very different from the diet he would be having at home. And that really plays with his mind. So the homework that I gave to him was, okay, now, first of all, we need to get away from this mindset that restaurant food is bad, because it is absolutely not bad. And one meal out will not ruin your progress, not at all. And it will ruin it if you go like crazy and having 5 tequilas, a bottle of wine, 2 beers, and another 2 shots, and then ending up at 4 a.m. at a kebab store. Yeah, that will do some damage. But this is not what he's doing. He's literally having a beer or 2 and having a meal out. That's all. And that's not detrimental at all. The problem is the mindset. So what I wanted him to do is, okay, first of all, before you're going to the restaurant, I want you to have a look at the menu before you go to the restaurant, if you need to. Like, have a quick look at the restaurant. If it's like a new restaurant, if it's a restaurant that you're going to all the time, you do know the menu and you can already make up in your mind, okay, what am I going to eat? But if you are in a fat loss phase, and he is currently in a fat loss phase, look up the menu online beforehand, and then think about what I'm going to eat. And I want you to choose based on your hunger levels, not based on like what would be the best fit for your macros, based on your hunger levels, because we don't want to lose our ability to go with our hunger and satiation cues. So are you just like a little bit peckish? Then choose like a lighter meal, like a salad or something. But if you're saying, oh, I'm actually really hungry, then choose a heavier meal that has all the things, carbs, protein, fats. That can be a burger with fries. That's absolutely fine. And I want you to write down the feelings that you have before you go to the restaurant. And then I want you to go home, like, how do you feel after you had that meal? Like, if it was the burger with the fries or the pizza, how do you feel at home? And he actually was having a pizza and he felt really, really heavy. He felt bloated because, of course, higher protein, higher carbs, higher fats, and of course a lot higher sodium levels as well, makes him feel uncomfortable. What I wanted him to do is to sit with this feeling. Just sit with it. That feeling will go away overnight. And the scales will return in less than 7 days. Because of course it will have a spike on the scales, but it's only water. It has nothing to do with body fat. So in less than 7 days, your water retention, the increase in the scales, everything, the glycogen, that all will go back to its normal state in less than 7 days. So I really wanted him to sit with this feeling. Don't ignore it, write it down if you want to. I mean, not everyone is really a writing person, but write down the way how you feel with it. And I want you to do every single time when you do that. And that eventually will help you to get over that guilt. So let's do some maths. How easy or how difficult is it to put on 0.5 kilogram of body fat? It's actually not that difficult, to be very honest with you. So to put on 0.5 kilogram, 1 pound, 450 grams of body fat, you would need to eat an additional 3,500 calories on top of your maintenance calories. It is surprisingly easy to eat that amount of food. Like, let's say you're eating, your TDEE, let's say, is 2,000 calories. Let's make this calculation easy. You would need to eat an additional 3,500 calories on that day, which brings it to 5,500 calories for 1 day. It is a lot. So in 1 day, it's probably not that easy. If you're taking my example of that one binge night out, probably easy. Like, you remember when I said earlier about 5 shots of tequila, bottle of wine, this, and then pizza and kebab at 4 a.m. You probably get your 5,000 calories together quite easy. But if you're being mindful, going out to a restaurant and having a meal that you really like, you're even going over your macros, over your total calorie count, it's still very difficult in one night to build up that 0.5 pound of body fat. But let's have that scenario over, you're going on a holiday. You go for a week to Bali. I'm here in Darwin. The next destination is usually Bali. But I'm actually not directly in Darwin. I'm south of Darwin, but yeah, I would be flying out from Darwin. I'm usually not dieting in Bali. I'm usually I was dieting once, but I was prepping for a show that was about 2 years ago. But normally when I am on my holidays, I am sitting at my maintenance. My maintenance is sitting around 2200 calories. In the course of the week, because I'm obviously enjoying myself, in the course of the week, if I would be eating 3500 calories, I would be gaining half a pound of body fat per week. Thinking of holidays, you're having, especially in a country like Bali, you have maybe a couple of beers, you have maybe a cocktail by the pool, and then you're having all of these heavy meals, like you have that nasi goreng, which are obviously a lot of carbohydrates, in combination that is fried in a lot of oil. So it is very easy to put that half a pound of body fat in on that week, yes. But then you can make some mindful changes. Obviously, you can control yourself around alcohol. Instead of having that nasi goreng every single day, you can maybe opt for a salad. And you can opt for like a steak with some vegetables on the side. You can ask the waiter to have the dressings on the side, things like that. You can help with that certainly. For the breakfast, you can go to buffets. Usually buffets are offered, depending on the hotel. Some of them do table service, but even then you can be selective, having some fruit for breakfast, having some oats for breakfast. All of those things are available in Bali, or whatever your travel destination is. Being mindful about those choices. Having one glass of wine for dinner instead of the whole bottle. Having maybe a skinny cocktail for the pool instead of the full strength stuff. Like things like that, you know? You can still enjoy life without going too much over. And that also will reduce your guilt about the restaurant visit, about the holidays, and also it will make you feel better overall. I now want to go back to eating like a normal person. So I am an accredited sports nutritionist. Like according to that masterclass I was talking to you about at the beginning, I'm apparently not eating like a normal person. And it kind of makes sense to me when I was listening to this masterclass. Yeah, it kind of made sense. Like when I'm looking at food, I'm always calculating in my head. I know what's in food. I studied nutrition. I was solely on food and nutrition for over 2 years. I was constantly estimating when like they put food in front of me or put pictures of food in front of me. That's my washing machine in the background. I was constantly estimating. I got pictures or in front of me and they said, Kate, now estimate this, estimate that, how many carbs, how much protein, how much fat, how much fiber. I'm trained on that for 2 years and that took a toll on me, not in a negative way. It's not triggering me at all, but I guess I eat differently to someone who does not have that education. Yes, I'm a little bit overqualified in terms of that, but it's a good way because this is exactly how I can help my clients for their muscle building goals, for their fat loss goals, for their overall feeling better, feeling fitter, feeling healthier goals. It is definitely a benefit because I can make choices in the restaurant knowing exactly what I'm eating, not necessarily having to choose a salad with a protein and a dressing on the side to make a better choice. I know how I can navigate through the whole menu and still hitting my macros. But this is done. I've been doing this for roughly 12 years. So I do have some practice. Eating like a normal person for everyone who has not that education, it's still a very important part. Of course, you can practice yourself. Like you do not necessarily have to go and study nutrition to become skilled in this. You can still practice your navigation of a menu, your estimation of macros. by cooking your meals at home. Like when you are, like all of my clients, at least most of them, I want them to cook at home, put their meals on the scales and track them in an app. Not because I want to be an asshole, because I want the best for you. So I really want you to do that at least for the first few weeks to get an idea, of course. Like most people coming to me, okay, I have 100 grams of protein today. So, oh, that's amazing, that's great. So what did you have? I had 100 grams of chicken breast. Okay, 100 grams of chicken breast does not equal 100 grams of protein. So this is exactly why I want you to track and weigh your food to learn, okay? So 100 grams of chicken breast has around 29 grams of protein. I want you to learn with tracking your and with cooking at home, putting the meals on the scales, putting that in an app. I want you to do that, not because I want to pressure you into having more things on your plate, because most of my clients are busy professionals. I don't want you to do that to have more things on your plate. I just want you to do that to learn. Like I want you to learn how much carbohydrates is in a slice of bread. Slice of bread has roughly, depending on what bread it is, how big that slice of bread is, has usually around 20 to 30 grams of carbohydrates. I want you to learn how much is in that one slice of bread. How much is 200 grams of rice? How does it look like? 100 grams of chicken breast raw and cooked. How does it look like? 100 grams or 150 grams of steak raw and cooked. How does it look like? A serving of pasta. How does it look like? How does a serving of salad look like? How much oil or how much fat is in a tablespoon of oil? All of those things, they can really help you to then again navigate you through the restaurant menu. And that helps you to understand macros, understands portion sizes, understands calories. And that will also help you to get away with that guilt again, because you have knowledge, and that knowledge will help you to get away with that guilt. Knowledge is power. Another part is, how is your guilt with food affecting your life? Especially when we do have a fat loss goal, we still want to learn to include restaurant visits, bar visits, all of those social things. We still want to be able to integrate it into our lives, because we have relationships. Like we can be in romantic relationships, family relationships, friend relationships, and we, like, if you're constantly saying no or feeling bad about yourself because you're having one meal out, how does this affect your relationship to your partner, to your friends, to your family? Are you pushing them away because you feel guilty about it? Are you being snappy to them because you're feeling guilty about it? Are you kind of hiding yourself in your house, locking yourself away in your room because you do not want to go out, because you remember how bad you felt the last time? And this can really like damage those relationships. Damage, also more importantly, it can damage the relationship with yourself. And this is exactly why I also wanted my client Gabriel, for example, I wanted him to write down the way how he feels before going to the restaurant, and then when he was going home. I didn't only want him to write down how he feels with his body, like the bloating feeling, the uncomfortable feeling. That's not all, but I also wanted him to write down, how do you feel the connection with the friends, with the family, because that is all about what it is. So how do you feel? Do you feel like you have been cut out of that conversation? Did you feel like disconnected to these people? Because these kind of things, they can indirectly worsen your relationship with food, if that makes sense. And this brings us to the end of this podcast. Quick change of location in case you haven't noticed. Well, guys, I know it is all sometimes a little bit all over the place. I do not follow a script really. I do think about what I'm saying in kind of what order, but then I start talking and things get smashed around. But I hope it made sense, and I hope you get something out of it. And if you do have any questions or want me to clarify on anything, then please comment below. I will get back to you within reasonable time. And you can also message me on my Instagram. Put down here my Instagram account. My Instagram handle is Katharina Schuster Coaching. I'm quite active there. I'm posting every day, educational, motivational, evidence-based nutrition, training, mindset, everything. Very valuable posts, very educational, and yeah, I really hope that I can help, I can educate you on. And as I said, if you do have questions, I'm very happy to help you. I also just released a subscription model because I'm really aware that these days money is sometimes a little bit short because increasing costs of living, fuel, groceries, all of that stuff. Of course we need to eat, of course we need to have a roof over our head, but we still do have our goals. I have my goals. I actually have my own coach as well, and it's not a health and fitness coach, it's actually a business coach. I'm pretty good with my nutrition and training. I mean, of course, this is what I'm doing for a living. And but anyways, I obviously very aware that people do want to have a coach. They like, at least they do like the idea of having a coach. They like to follow a structured workout program and something that is really customized to them. But often then when the price drops, it's like, ah, shit. So therefore I thought I want to meet you halfway, and I have released a subscription model. I put it in here, you can read it. It's really, really affordable. It's like $97 per month, which equates to less than $25 per week. And you get a personalized plan for your nutrition and for your training, as well as a monthly check-in. So that will be all done in a written way, and I will get you to book in with me for a consultation via Zoom, because the nutrition and the training, it is personalized to you personally. And therefore, of course, I need to talk to you and I need to ask you questions for me to be able to actually create these plans for you. And then it's just on a month by month thing. It's not a login, and there will be an agreement, but it's not that you locked in for a year or anything. Like there will be terms and conditions, like there will be a 1 month cancellation notice, but that's pretty much it. And I don't think that's bad. I think that's very fair. And yeah, if you do like that, just hit me up and we can book in a consultation. That consultation is completely for free, and we can just see if you and I are actually a good fit and see where it takes us. So, and this is now really the end of this podcast. I hope you did enjoy it, and I see you in the next one. My name is Katharina Schuster. This is my podcast, Make a Change, and see you later.